invading this space, harvesting what they can find for themselves. The night creatures have come to cut the grass, to eat the pears, to find whatever they have that is left that they can have for themselves. The creatures of the night are here. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up from a weird dream. I don't know what it was all about. It was weird. Dream language is the language of apocalypse. We see in allegory, we see in metaphor. I was free to leave the place I was at any time, but it was safe there, so I stayed. The creatures of the night, they don't know those bounds. Their boundaries are places that not even fences can contain them. As long as they don't see me, we can watch them. We can watch the creatures of the night. They come from their alien places. You can look so closely at them that you can just almost look into their eyes. Brain Rot Boyle, welcome. Hello, Brain Rot Boyle. Let's just stay out of the just watch closely. Seems like the camera's just fogging up the glass. What's the other one doing? I know he can see me through the glass because Edie Main, welcome. Let's go up here. You might be able to see me. Oh, he wagged his tail. Look at that. Maybe he doesn't see me. But they're leaving now. He sees the motion. Went over to the other tree. They cleaned up all the pears off the ground. I put in a whole bunch of pear sauce 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Lots and lots and lots. Pear sauce and tomato sauce. Processing them. They got whatever was left over. They've actually been here close to a half an hour. I woke up and saw that they were here. That one's walking away. It's going back to its spaceship. The place that it comes and goes in the night. Oh, that one's going to rather quickly sees me. Well, there's the show. The show's over. This is 999 Show. Bill signing off at what? Relight on? 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, that's what it is. It's 4:30 in the morning. Lawson Groover, welcome. Welcome to the Oregon coast at 4:30 in the morning. Crazy things. Have I seen crazy things? Yeah, I have seen crazy things, but I haven't seen supernatural things. Oh, no, I haven't. I have in my house. When my grandmother died in this house, and then then after my dad died, I saw them, both them. Um, I seen ghosts in other houses that I've lived in. This is the house. This was my folks' house, and now it's my house for the most part. Our houses are ours as long as we can keep them. Lawson Groover, welcome. John Game, welcome. Yeah. What is the craziest thing that I've seen here? Oh, I'll tell you the craziest thing I've seen here, Lawson, is I saw a cougar. I was out on I was mountain biking on the logging roads up above there, and I ran across the cougar sunning itself at like 5 o'clock in the evening, and it was like that thing was so huge. It's huge. I like multi-generational houses too, but there's only two generations that live in this house. It's me, and it's my 85-year-old mother, and that's who lives here. If I don't, I think the multi. Oh, am I screaming? Okay. Well, I think that the multi-generation. Do I like it there? Well, I grew up here, so we tend to like the places that we grow up in. It's quiet. The drawback is to this area is that if you all the grocery stores are like 25 miles away. It's a 25-mile drive to town, and you go to the doctor, it's 25 miles away. You go to wherever you want to go. Everything's about 25 miles away. That's the drawback, and so then as a result, you end up having to keep have your stores on hand. I keep roughly. I have like 6 months of food on hand, but most of that is in the form of legumes and rice, and then there's flour, and so you do have to live. You do have to know how to cook. You have to know how to make things when you don't have all the ingredients. Like, how do you make pancakes without like eggs and milk? But you also have to have a fat source now. So if you have like olive oil, you keep olive oil on hand at all times, and so you can make pancakes with just and you just mix the ingredients until it's the right consistency. So do you want them as pancakes, or do you want them as waffles? And so you kind of learn how to make things by by the texture, by the consistency, and being able to do that. And I mean, that's a hell of a survival skill. The other one is also making sure that you have like meat thermometers and things like that. So if you have meat thermometer, and then you never really need to know. So you will be back, yeah. I got to go back to bed because I was sleeping, and I sleep, and then I woke up. I did have to clean the kitchen, and while I was cleaning the kitchen, I noticed the deer out there, and then I finished cleaning the kitchen, and then I did go out and take film the deer for the last few minutes while they were here, and now I'm here hanging out with you guys. Anyways, there's that. I mean, you have all these survival skills because when you live in the rural areas, or you live anywhere. When I lived in the cities, when I lived in Seattle for a long time. I lived in small cities in Oregon, or because I'm in Oregon here, Oregon coast, or Oregon coastal mountains. You have to know how to do a lot of things, and the more things you know how to do for yourself, the better off you are. So, for instance, I mean, I think that the greatest survival skill that everybody should be to know is how to cook, and how to cook. Like how to cook vegan. How do you feed yourself if you are, just if you just have only plants only? How do you get a well balanced diet, and how to cook vegan? How to cook keto? How to cook, you know, all these different forms. How to cook for yourself in a where you've pulled the grain out of your diet. Or how to, like I said, like the earlier example was how to make pancakes when you don't have milk and eggs. How to make pancakes with just water and oil and flour, and how to do that, because and so that it tastes good enough. In actuality, I kind of like it better. I like pancakes made with water and oil and just flour, whether it be like whole wheat flour or whole grain flour. And then maybe you might want to add in some flax meal, or add something else like some chia seeds in it to bump the protein level up, and so forth. Maybe you add some ground up nuts in it to jack the protein level up. So especially if you're like diabetic, or you're semi-diabetic. Welcome, X. This is George Constant. I don't know who that is. I'm just some old guy who lives out in the middle of nowhere, 25 miles from the nearest town. That's all I am. I am, well, I mean, you can't tell from the picture, but my hair is well, it's almost all gray. It's going away to. No, I don't have a. I don't know who that is. X. You mean like Tom and Jerry, like the cartoon? Let's see, what was that Tom and Jerry the cartoon? Was that like mice and a cat? Yeah, was that what it was. Tom and Jerry, was Tom? Tom was the cat and Jerry was the mouse. Is that? I remember that cartoon from a long time ago. But I don't remember Tom and Jerry being from my time. I think that was more like my parents' generation. I seen Tom and Jerry cartoons before. It's been a long time. I mean, kind of like the Pink Panther, that kind of a cartoon. But that was like it was kind of big in the 50s and the 60s, where the Pink Panther would be the character that was leading into your movies. I think like maybe Mad World. No, not that one, but other movies. Anyways, I've been on a lot longer than I was expecting. I just came on to show you the deer that the deer invaders coming into into the backyard, eating grass and eating what was left of the pears that have fallen off onto the ground. Oh, well, that would be Jesus. You need to be asking Jesus that question, X. You know, get on your hands and get on your knees and start praying to Jesus and ask if Jesus will do that for you. Or Frankenstein. You know, Mel Brooks's movie, Young Frankenstein. That was a good movie. Well, X, when I first came on, what was in my yard was two deer. Yeah, Frankenstein. Yeah, the Young Frankenstein. That was a great movie. Was watching Blazing Saddles, what, 2 nights ago? Yeah, because it was like on Prime. It was free. Skinwalker, welcome. Walk this way. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was a Mel Brooks film. It is a great film. I like Young Frankenstein. That's one of my favorites. I'm not really I don't really. I'm not into horror films and scary films, but I do like watch lots of comedies and so forth. I watch a lot of Frasier, and I like this Frasier series or Northern Exposure. I keep watching those things over and over again. Um, Down Periscope, Pump Up the Volume. Those are the movies that I've been watching over and over again. Probably when I turn the camera off and go back to bed, go back to sleep, I'll probably put Down Periscope on to see if just to listen to that while I'm going to sleep to make sure that my dreams are good rather than having bad dreams. Anyways, if you haven't seen Down Periscope, you should watch that one. I've seen that one hundreds of times because I can rewatch that movie over and over and over again. Anyways, it doesn't look like there's anybody here yet anymore, and I have not seen that film X. I have not seen Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Um, it sounds like it's probably a scary film, and like I say, I don't really watch scary films. Now, on occasion, I do maybe like the Alien Invasion film, the Steve Spielberg's miniseries Taken. I try to find that. It gets loaded up to YouTube, and then it's there for a while, and then it's taken away, and somebody loads it up to YouTube, and it's there for a while, and it's taken away, or like Quarterback Princess. Now that's actually a good one. It's not a scary film. It was filmed near. Um, One is deaf, one is blind. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Oh, so it's Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Oh, yeah, I like both. I like Richard Pryor movies too. What about The Jerk? You ever watch that one? What I have seen is that I think it must have been like the anniversary of John Candy's death because I was like watching a Delirious before I fell asleep. Delirious with John Candy and a bunch of people, but that was like in '91, like 3 years before he passed on. And then there was a really nice documentary about the life of John Candy that was good. Yeah, yeah. I was like when I was watching that, and the way they put that film together, and they're talking about the life of John Candy, and I'm thinking, oh my God, John Candy is like a bit of Christ consciousness that was born into our world. He seemed like he was a very good person, a very a loving person, and a decent person, and it was like that his life was imbued with this Christ consciousness energy. That's what it seemed like. Even though he drank a lot, but that doesn't mean that you know Christ consciousness can do what it wants to do. and it works its way mysteriously in our world through people of all walks of life. You know, all of us can align ourselves in a way that we invite Christ consciousness into our life. You know, it's just up to us whether that's something we want to do. But yeah, planes, trains, and automobiles. Yeah, I love that movie, and you know, they with oh, then the other one, which is not a John Candy one, but it's a Steve Martin movie, is Leap of Faith, where he plays this show preacher, always trying to scam people, but then and at the very end, you know, there's this boy who was a cripple, and then the boy could walk again, or walk again without crutches. And then the truth of that was so great that he ended up just walking out on his whole crew and just leaving on to his next scam, or his next portion of his life to reinvent himself. The leap of faith. That's a great. But I love the beginning of those movies, because there's like he's got like like the materials of a disco ball on his jacket, and it's all, and so we get the lights on him, and he's got like a whirling, dancing on stage with this disco ball jacket, you know, with a mirror, with all these little flecks of a mirror, and then his crew is out there with earpieces, and they're kind of talking, trying to pull their scams and so forth, and that's a great film. But Planes, Trains, and Automobile is a good film. Every time I go travel, I watch that film. Yeah, it is hilarious. It's hilarious. Not the whole one, not the whole movie. You know, half the movie is, but there's a, in the end, it's got this human touch, this sadness. You know, where Del Griffith really has no home. He lives his life out on the road, and then where the holidays are just torment for him because there's no home to return to, you know, and keeps the memory of his wife alive as he moves from town to town to town all across America, but with no home. And just to stay, yeah. Anyways, I am going to try and go back to sleep, and it was fun to hang out here for a few minutes. It was fun to share the deer that were in my backyard with all y'all. That seems to be the video that I've been doing a lot for the last 2 weeks, mainly because there was a death in the family, and I have a lot of relatives coming over on Tuesday, and I have to finish getting the house decluttered before they start to arrive on Tuesday and cleaned up. And then after the funeral, then I'll be able to go back to more regular types of content on this channel. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. And thank you, X. Thank you, Skinwalker. Thank you, Lawson Grover. Thank you, Proud American. Thank you, John Game. Thank you, Edid Maine. Thank you, Brain Rot Boyle. And thank you, everybody who pushed the like and the sub button. If you did that, if you didn't, that's fine. And we'll see you all the next time. Bye-bye.